So let's look at production 3-axis. So here we have a mold block with a positive core meaning it's standing up from the mold block. So we want to machine that core. So we're going to basically do a roughing. We did a re-roughing. So based on this roughing, after it simulates, it'll go back and calculate where there's still stock left on the part using a smaller tool, and it clears more of it out for you. So that just helps your finishing passes, at less stress on your finishing tool to get as much material out of there as possible. So we have a number of different finishing tool paths here. On this tool path strategy, it's a horizontal finishing. So we're telling it in horizontal finishing, it cuts it in levels. So we say, okay, we want a horizontal finishing, but we don't even want to go up so high. So we're doing these almost near vertical areas. It's a curve on it, but it's almost vertical. So that's where we're getting to the horizontal finishing for near vertical, parallel finishing for near horizontal areas. So we got a horizontal finishing for the sidewalls. We also have a horizontal finishing based tight right on the bottom. So in a lot of cases on molds like this, you may need an actual sharp edge right there. But since you're actually, that's actually a complicated thing to do. If you have a tapered wall and you need a sharp edge, that's relatively complex to get a tool in there to do that. So that's why we added a separate finishing pass right along this bottom edge, because from that operation, this is a ball mill, so it left some material there. So we did another operation really tight. Let's see what tool they used. So we're using a 0.1 by a 0.005 tool, taper tool. So it's a 1 degree with a 0.005 ball on the tip. So we're leaving 0.005 at this bottom edge. Okay, that's why there's a separate operation right at the bottom. So in parallel finishing, basically, as we mentioned in the other basic 3-axis, you're just running it across the part. Okay, and in this part, it's running at 0, which is across the x-axis. And we did this. If you look at here, the green, we selected the surfaces. In this case, we said for the contact condition to just go past it. So it went past the surface boundary based on the diameter of the tool, just to clean that area up. So we got one there. Obviously, you would have a tighter step over for finishing, but we just leave it lax so we could show it to you easily. So now we have one here going in the Y direction. The blue motions are actual arc motions. So that's a nice smooth arc motion. And then we have another parallel finishing going in the Y direction for this area here. And then you can use parallel finishing just to go over clean up the entire area of the core based on a boundary that we selected out here, okay? And we have some profiling.
We're done with time. Anything else you want to do, some post-processing or talk a little bit about that?
Okay. And for post-processing here, I just picked it post. We have 2 types of post. Legacy, meaning this is the standard post-processing that everyone gets, okay? We call it legacy only because we added a new Python programmable post option. That was a couple of versions back. Where you want to talk about that, Joe? You can take a moment to talk about the Python post.
Yeah, so the Python post is basically a completely new architecture that we implemented. It was actually implemented in 2025, but we've enhanced it in 2026 quite a bit. And it's pretty powerful. It's event-driven. So, and because of the power of Python programming language, we can do lots of interesting things in the post. So we're pretty confident we can handle pretty much any machine out there in the field right now. So it's an interesting area that we worked on, and moving forward, that is the area that we will be focusing most of our resources on. So you'll see more posts coming, more Python posts being developed from our end.
Okay. And also, what do the users do if they have or they run into problems and they think they might need it?
Yeah, so Python posts are obviously complicated. The legacy posts are macro driven. So, excuse me, we have a post process generator that's bundled with the product. Users can use it if they are familiar, if they're comfortable, they can use it and set up their own posts. But if you need any additional help on the post processors, we can. If it's something simple, we can do it as part of your support maintenance agreement. But if it's something that we need to really get in and start a project, it'll be a separate cost item. Our sales department can give you the information regarding the costs, and it'll depend on the machine complexity that you have. So you can talk to us about that.
Okay, what I did there is I just selected, I had the legacy post. This is the macro driven post, our post process generator. I just picked edit next to Haas. And this is the post process generator. You have, as Joe mentioned, it's macro driven. You have all these macros in there for different types of areas of the code. For instance, a tool change, you got macros for, how is the G code going to be formatted when it does a tool change, et cetera. And you can work through all of these operation types, all kinds of drilling cycles, boring, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so if you guys have any other questions, we're gonna wrap this up. We're gonna send you a recording of the video probably tomorrow, or maybe even this afternoon, but probably tomorrow. And you can watch it then. And if you got any questions, you can send us an email to support@mecsoft.com, and we'll obviously answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
everyone.
Bye.